One of the most common questions I get from students is, why don't I just do undergraduate engineering and then get an MBA instead of M&T? And my response to most of these students is, that's actually a pretty good point. Just kidding. So what's up, guys? I'm Mo with the Fro, back with another video, not in slow-mo. Let's go. And we're going to be talking about undergraduate engineering plus MBA versus UPenn M&T or any engineering plus business program. MIT has engineering and business. You can double major. Berkeley MET is another option. And a couple of schools just let you study business and engineering together. So this question, I think, is actually a little bit more complex than people think it is. There are a lot of things that have to go into consideration, and I think it's definitely something that a lot of people have in the back of their mind, even in M&T, before they're applying. I think everyone kind of has to consider it as an option. So I'm going to kind of break down benefits of both and detriments of both and what my final opinion is. So let's hop right in. So first, I'm going to start with kind of the biggest benefits of M&T and why I chose that personally, as that was the decision I made. So with M&T, you get a couple of really nice things going for you. One, you get to finish in 4 years. With an MBA, you're going to be doing like 4 years of undergraduate, 2 years of MBA. That's a lot of schooling. And on top of that, you're often going to have to spend like 3 years going to work. And like, this is because most MBA programs in the US have implemented this rule where they want to see people with like 3 to 5 years of work experience. There are exceptions. Stanford lets people apply right out of undergrad. But for the most part, if you're looking at these top MBA programs, Wharton now wants you to have 3 to 5 years of experience. And with that, I think that that's just so much time off your life. Once you're out of undergrad and you're working for 3 years, you're established and you have the extracurriculars, you have the job with the prestige that's going to like easily allow you to get into a top MBA program, you're going to be tired and like not really want to switch. There's a high opportunity cost because now you're making money, right? Not only are you paying $130,000 a year for an MBA program, you're also losing that maybe like $200K you could be potentially making as a computer science, like as a software engineer at like a big firm. So there's a high kind of cost associated with an MBA, and that's really the second thing. Not only is time a factor, cost is a factor, and some companies will pay for you to get your MBA, but even then, you're still not making money in that time frame when you could be. You're not advancing your career, and it's really awkward to take those 2 years out of the middle of your career. Now, I kind of think that those 2 years could be a break for some people. A lot of people in M&T actually have come back and told us they got MBAs at Harvard or at Stanford or at Wharton even, and they come back and say it was kind of a nice break from work and it was kind of a career pivot opportunity. With that being said, I still think that for most people that time is quite valuable. On the flip side, you might be able to finish quicker if you're doing undergraduate engineering alone. Maybe you'll be able to finish in 3.5 years with APs, or maybe you'll just have an easier time you will just have an easier time in undergrad. And that's really like the first thing going for the MBA. I think that M&T, like I've said in other videos, is amazing. It's just rigorous. A lot of classes you have to take, a lot of time spent just studying, and it's kind of stressful for some people, I think. And undergraduate engineering, you take maybe like 10 fewer classes, and then you just put those classes into an MBA, which I think is one of the things going for an MBA. With that being said, kind of talking a little bit about benefits of an MBA, on the flip side, I guess we're just going to go one-on-one here. I think an MBA is useful for getting connections, which M&T is also very useful, but if you're just considering like general undergraduate engineering plus business versus like, an MBA plus undergraduate engineering, I think that you can make a lot of connections with high profile people. People at MBAs have, work experience under their belt. They have more established kind of like professional careers, and they're able to give you a lot of resources. You're able to talk about things. And a lot of people even say that MBAs aren't really for learning, they're for meeting people. People even say that undergraduate is for meeting people and not really for learning. So in that sense, the MBA will let you meet some high profile people, although undergraduate, you can still do that. But I think one of the differences that a lot of people have to consider here is you have, years of work under your belt. You might be able to learn more through your MBA. You're going to make better connections because you're going to know what you're good at, and you're going to have an idea of what you're doing professionally in the future. Whereas in undergrad, you might not know who to meet. You're going to be exploring a lot more, and you might not know what you want to do after undergrad. So you might not be able to target the people that you want to meet. And an MBA will let you do that a lot more effectively. And, people do say that MBA students, are just there to network, but like undergrad students also want to network with you. I don't really think that's a huge advantage of the MBA, especially if you're in a school with undergraduate business. You can certainly network with MBAs at the same time, and I think that that's something a lot of people don't do, like networking with grad students as an undergrad. There's nothing preventing you. There's like no law in the school preventing you from like networking with grad students. So in my opinion, I think that benefit is a little bit reduced compared to like how some people frame it. And I think that one of the other benefits of M&T that's really nice is it's actually in the M&T website, and this is kind of the reason I chose it. M&T will let you get your undergraduate business degree or like your business knowledge a lot earlier. And a lot of people say you don't learn in business school. Business school, you learn on the ground, like it's just there to meet people, like I've mentioned. But honestly, I think you do learn skills if you're looking for skills to learn, if you know what you want going into it. And you can take specific classes catered towards that. So I think that you have the ability to learn whatever you want a lot earlier, and that gives you more time in your life to implement those skills. Additionally, I think that having kind of a break from your like quantitative hardcore engineering classes and having these like qualitative classes in between through Wharton, or through any undergraduate business program, whatever, it's like fun and it's like a break. And like the MNT website says, it's like cognitive in nature. You're doing qualitative with quantitative, and you're learning, different things in your brain is like causing different neurons to fire, whatever it is, however they want to frame it. But the idea is you're not just doing like hard numbers all the time. You're getting some qualitative knowledge. You're getting some kind of relationship skills, like, you're learning how to talk with people, like social skills. And that's something you're going to like learn in your undergrad while you're still developing before you're like kind of ossified and like into your career doing an MBA. With that being said, again, the flip side of that is you take fewer classes again as an undergraduate engineer, and if you want, you can take qualitative classes along with your other quantitative classes. But I think that not many people do that. They kind of get bogged down by the engineering, and I think that it's a lot easier when you have a set program and you're, like I said, you're learning business skills specifically, which can be useful to your career. And again, cost is something we mentioned. M&T, you're only paying once for your degrees, whereas MBA, you're paying the extra $130K, $125K, whatever it is, on top of your undergrad, and you're not getting financial aid usually. You're going to have to find a company to pay for it. With that being said, in terms of career options, MBAs do make more money in general than undergraduate degrees, and that can be something that, if you want, you can do your undergraduate engineering, see if you like it, if you're not sure, and then say, I like business, do an MBA, and then move into finance, move into something else, move into consulting with your MBA. And it's like a career pivot tool. Again, I don't think doing business and engineering undergrad precludes you from doing that though. So I think also you kind of get lost, like not lost, but like it just becomes hard with inertia once you start working to go to, even aside from the cost, I think just the inertia makes it hard to go into an MBA program. And then there's also the fact that you're not necessarily guaranteed to be admitted to a top MBA program. You're probably gonna, have to work really hard in engineering and then have a good career afterwards, which, hopefully you want that. But you're not guaranteed admittance, into anything, unfortunately, even if you have certain scores or whatnot. And that's kind of another thing, I guess, that has to go into consideration. Now, with that being said, something you can do with an MBA that's a little different than M&T is you can get degrees from two different institutions. So I can go to Penn and do engineering undergrad, or MIT. You can go to a better engineering school if you're focused on engineering, if you're a hard engineer. And you can then go to MIT undergrad and then go to like Wharton Business School or like Stanford MBA. And then that gives you access to two different networks of students, where not just students, like alumni, and it gives you two things on your resume, which looks a lot stronger than just having one school on your resume. And having a graduate degree looks better than having an undergrad degree. So I would say it really depends on what you want to do after college and what your goals are ultimately career-wise. If you're more the hardcore engineering track, you just don't feel like you like business, and maybe you just want to get an MBA so that you can manage engineers later down the line, then you can try and go to MIT, Stanford, and try and land a top engineering job. Not saying you can't land those from Penn, just a little bit easier from those schools sometimes. Whereas if you already know that you're interested in business and you kind of want to save time and money and you're not sure that you need an MBA, you're not entirely sure that you kind of want engineering even, like business can be your main focus. I would maybe you're interested in CS, but you really like business even more and you like, whatever, consulting even more, and you just want CS as a means to an end. I would say doing the combined undergraduate business route, business engineering route is better. And just some final thoughts. I think personally, I made the decision of undergraduate, combining them, business and engineering versus the MBA. And I think that for me, the biggest factors were the time. I want to do something right after college and I want to just go full throttle. I don't want to have to take this time, break up my kind of school schedule and just spend 3 years working. That sounds terrible. Even if I got into MBA directly, it's like 6 years of school. At that point, I'm going to med school, man. Just kidding. But I think that was one of the biggest factors for me. And then I wanted to learn business. I just wanted to learn the skills that I thought were useful. And I felt like I could network adequately at Penn anyway. I didn't think it was necessary for me to do an MBA, or I didn't think that you have to necessarily have business experience to learn business, to be able to benefit from business classes. Even though some people claim that, I think that you can learn anything without having hands-on experience necessarily. Getting hands-on experience is good, but learning the theory, there is theory behind business, and who's to say you can't do business, you can't run a business during undergrad, you can't work during undergrad and internships and learn the on-the-ground, boots on the ground experience. Of course, you learn more working professionally, but those internships they give you a huge taste. 3 months is a long time. So with that being said, that was the reason I made my decision. And in general, I think if you have an interest in business, I would just go the undergrad business route if you can get into some program, or if you can double major, and if you can handle it. Those are all the kinds of things that are important. And if you're not sure and you're just a hardcore engineer and you might want to pivot down the line, just do your engineering, enjoy it, have an easier time undergrad, be a good engineer, and then maybe you'll change your mind and want to do an MBA later. But I don't think that if you want to do business, you should have a plan to do engineering plus MBA. That's my personal opinion. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.